Welcome to show 245.
Indeed.
We're here in the Shed Shop.
We are.
We are listening to a bit of Hold On coming by Herbie Mann.
Totally.
And we've got Russell SIGHER Paine
in the house. Exactly. He actually popped in today, so we took the opportunity to have a great little interview with him about the Super Disco Edits label. So even though he didn't come in with any tracks, we were going to put a few on either side, but have a cracking interview right in the middle. So
it's off the cuff.
Off the cuff, indeed. With his main man Luke, who brought a load of hip hop.
Nice fella.
Yeah, very nice indeed. Yeah, totally. So yes, all good.
But we'll start with a bit of Herbie Mann off of Herbie Mann. Memphis Underground. Bought in this very shop.
Here we go.
Look at that. Yeah, if you're wondering where we are, well, we're in South Harrow, opposite the South Harrow Piccadilly line station. In the indoor market, you can't miss us. You walk straight down. There's a candle bloke there, and we're up here. Or he is here.
The candle bloke made me a candle. Check that out. HBS.
A little bit. There we go.
Music Archaeology candle. That is so cool. So come down and get your personalised candles, because there you go.
It smells of blueberry muffin.
It does. It does. Apparently that's what it reminded me of him or something like that. But anyway,
there you go.
There you go. Yeah, but this is wicked. Really nice. Good album. Next up we've got a slice of the originals on Motown. Very nice album.
Yeah, it's the originals on Motown, as Chris says.
The unmistakable sound of Dennis Coffey on guitar, no doubt. Yeah. And it's a killer album actually, this one. Baby I'm For Real, but this track is When Will We Learn? Excellent, really, really close.
No point at the moment.
Yeah, totally. How's it going out there, America?
I went to see La La Land yesterday, it was okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that it warrants the... It's a good film in a bubble, exactly. But when you compare it to a great musical...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm Rouge.
I quite like Moulin Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Yeah, Russell's got some interesting stuff to say.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, what a fascinating guy. And if anyone hasn't been following any of the releases from Super Disco Edits, well,
you really, really need to. Now, we actually haven't got any of these releases in the shop, otherwise we've been putting those either side of the interview. But we'll be playing some next week. Plus, he's got a new one coming out as well, which you can pre-order right now on Super Disco Edits. So go there and get it, because it is awesome. Plus some of the stuff that possibly might be coming out in the future. I had a sneaky listen on his headphones and there's some killer stuff coming, so there you go.
Yeah, we would maybe we'll bring something next week, because their releases, they go like that. So
just like that.
I've got their releases at home, but they're in the shop.
The Arnold Flair has had its third pressing, so it's obviously doing so well that he's had to press it a lot more times.
I understand why it's great.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, next up we've got Christine McVie, or Christine Perfect, the legendary Christine Perfect album, but this is the US press. This is using Fleetwood Mac, and this has got a few funk barnstormers on it actually, but it's also got a killer break. So let's have a listen.
Yep, you can hear that. Probably can.
Lovely drum break.
This album,
it's a really good album, yeah.
Come off the wall, but it's already been filled.
It's already been filled.
Christine's hole has already been filled.
That's right, we filled Christine's hole well. with a bit of Deep Purple.
Next Saturday we will be over in the sun of Camberwell, playing with Mr. Higgs and Mr. Parker.
That's right, we'll be doing our Kid and Play kick step with them.
Yes, we will.
That's right.
Yes, we will.
Indeedy.
Sacks spread all out on the floor, giving you explosions of soul, funk, disco, and
all sorts.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, looking forward to that, I have to say.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. This is such a cool tune.
It is good. It's a really good album.
Yeah. Anyway, should we go to the interview?
Oh, I think we should go to the interview. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So here is Mr. Russell Payne. There we go. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Bit off the cuff, but you came in the shop, so I thought we'd grab you.
A couple of times. Great shop. Always love coming in here.
Thank you ever so much.
Always find some good bargains, and you always, do some sweet deals.
Well, I try. Yeah, so we got Russell Payne from Super Disco Edits in the shop.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. friend.
And you've already done, like we discussed earlier, you've already done like the interview with Andy Higgs, which was a great interview, which kind of covered your past.
Very hot, but it was good fun. He was sweating.
He'll get you like that.
Andy Higgs makes a lot of people hot.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah.
So we won't really concentrate on where you began and all that sort of stuff because it's already documented.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the label, Super Disco Edits.
Yeah, it's pretty good fun.
It's been going for.
Well, it is good fun.
How long has it been going for now?
Probably only 3 years, I'd say.
3 years.
3 years.
And what made you make the jump? Because you'd already started DJing sort of on the sort of soul scene before that.
Yeah, pretty much for a while.
Yeah, and not broken away from the hip hop sort of like thing where you came from.
Yeah.
But obviously,
I was always a bit of a soft soul-y, even in my production probably. So I was always more of that very melody kind of style of hip hop. So I guess it was inevitable.
Yeah.
I think maybe when people left some forms of hip hop, some people kind of went drum and bass and acid and stuff, and some people were kind of big softies and went the other way and dug soul music.
I suppose everyone grows up, don't they, to a certain degree. No, maybe not. No.
Apart from when we're on nights out, then obviously you're just a big child again.
Exactly. So 3 years ago, so how did you get the idea to actually start?
Well, it only really come about because when we were doing the Guts nights, we had some unissued stuff that we, and we had some new material. So we wanted to go down that avenue, me and Sel, of putting it out. So we had an interest from a record label in America.
Right.
But it was so long-winded, and it was a little bit, maybe on their terms, and they wanted to do the unissued stuff first when we wanted to do the new material.
Right.
And obviously they had a plan, which I can understand as a label. And when you've got music, you're just excited, you just want to get it out.
Yeah.
So it kind of fell a little bit flat. And I just made an edit one day, just what you do in the afternoon when you've got your sampler. And I sort of played it to the Beat Detective, and we had a bit of chat over the phone. And he goes, he's like goading me, you should put it out, you should put it out. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to put it out.
Is that the one that you put out as a 12?
No, just a 45, just like Troubled Children, just
of course, yes.
So it's only like Press 250. It was just a bit of fun. But once that had started, so that's really how the Super Disco Edit name sort of came about, because it was just an edit. It was, and then Mr. Crumb said, I always thought Super Disco Edits, on that Super Disco Breaks thing, like Paul Winley's label. So we just kind of decided, it was fun. I never knew it was going to grow into something else. So I kind of,
And when did it start growing into something else? In regards to you, like hunting down in a very spectacular way all of these old
I'd already
artists.
done it. I'd already hunted people down.
Was that purely to find records?
Find records,
Right.
to find records and ask about other material, but really to find records just for me, either to get as personally or to sell and make money to buy more records. That's what we want to do. Really, we just want to buy records, don't we?
Yeah, we want to.
We're not bothered about cash. If we got it, we say, let's buy some records. So, the first one I had already was the Limmy Funk Limited.
Right.
But I said, this is a record that I found in my local, like a store like this in Hatfield, and I just loved it. And my then girlfriend, which turned out to be my wife, we just both loved it. So I thought, I'm just going to see if I can find him. Randomly, the first person I rang, who owned a company in County Durham, near Newcastle, basically this record was from London, South London.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't know, detective skills, thought this could be him. He was in that line of work.
Sure.
It was him, and the jubilation of finding someone and him, reciprocating, going, oh wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Was really good. So it took a couple of years, but we ended up meeting in a hotel in Croydon. He come down and we went. I took my wife and me and kids. We met up. He gave me the reels, and then I just transferred the reels, and that's when we got a few different songs from it. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
And sorry. Sorry. Blame my kids for that, little sods. And so you had the one release.
Yeah.
And how well was that received initially?
Really well. Really well. Yeah. The Saturday Night's Night had already come out. But where I thought there might be other material is in the same shop where I bought the record, in this little shop in Hatfield. I also found an acetate, and it said bass heavy. So I thought, right, I was a different mix of it. So that's what led me to believe that maybe, I might just get this bass heavy mix or something. So I got the reels. There was probably about 8 songs on it, and he he dealt with a lot of people during that time, like famous people like Madeleine Bell,
Right.
you know, obviously Limmy had been on Avco with like, you know, Limmy Family Cooking.
That's right,
So
yeah.
he told me some mad stories about him, you know, a bit of a womanizer and stuff.
Right.
But obviously in the 70s, I think what you don't realise, a lot of it's like run by mafia people.
Well,
And
even
he's-
in the UK?
Yeah, and he said, obviously Sharon Osbourne's dad, I can't remember his second name, his name's Don.
Yes.
I think he's heavy,
Yeah.
you know, if he wanted
So
your
I've
group,
heard.
he would take your group, he would, you know.
I've
Violence,
I've
yeah.
heard some stories about him actually.
Yeah, and you can, if you type up his name, it just says he's massive in Soho. Obviously, maybe that, like Paul Raymond Review Bar and all them sort of
Sure.
seedy things around there, in control of a lot of that.
Right.
And he told me the story of, he basically, he got to like have Black Sabbath, obviously because of force and violence. He just sort of said, I want to have that group. And basically took it. So I'm guessing that's how Sharon met, obviously, Ozzy Osbourne, because he basically said, I want to be the manager. It's
And
like,
you're going to marry my daughter?
yeah, you let me have it. Yeah, you let me have it, or it's violence.
Yeah.
And that's how it rolled.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. I'm reading this book at the moment. This guy Steve Gnorey's put out about Scepter Wand records.
Yeah.
Exactly the same in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
I know you hear stories about Frank Sinatra being controlled. That's what it was. 50s, 60s. It was big players running
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So you didn't have to run into any of those yourself?
No, I'm all right. Unless there's some big mafia people out there now saying I want your stuff, but I'm guessing it's not really.
Never know.
You never know.
Me and Brad
yeah.
can be pretty hard, I'll tell you
They
that.
all want their cut now. They're going to find
Exactly.
out.
Yeah.
So after the initial sort of Limmy Funk Limited came out,
Yeah.
had you found other stuff?
I've been in touch with people.
Or did that sort of like spur you on to find
That definitely
other
spurred
people?
me on, because once I'd done it and it was quite well accepted, you know, I'm quite a competitive person. I thought to myself, yeah, I want to dig some deeper, get some more stuff. So just really, and you can look through your own record collection and own paraphernalia you've got about stuff, and just take leads from there. And then if you've got a bit of music you like, you can follow that up. So that's really the course it took, you know, having records of music I liked, following it up and seeing if it led anywhere. Sometimes it does, sometimes you have to call people who aren't the person you thought they were going to be. So yeah, it's probably like getting a girlfriend, you know, it's probably like you can have a few knockbacks, but eventually there'll be that one person that might take you on.
Never had
No.
And so, I mean, how many wild goose chases have you gone on? And I
Lots,
mean, really,
lots.
is there anybody that you've tried to look for that just haven't found?
Not really. The guy that I wanted to find was this guy Bill Brown, who's had his Brownstone records, not mistaken with obviously like Henry Stone, like Brownstone.
Sure.
And I was in touch with someone who had produced the records, and they'd lost touch with Bill Brown. But to find a Bill Brown in America, believe me, there
course, yeah.
are a lot.
Yeah.
So it's extremely difficult. If they've got not an unusual surname,
Yeah.
it's almost impossible, unless you just. You can go on Facebook and you can do deductions, and you've just got to really keep going through people, see where they live, maybe hit up some random, might be family members. So yeah, it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit of not worrying about if you're going to offend them or stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can find them and they don't even want to know. They don't even want to talk about it.
Really? Have you
Yeah.
had many of those?
Yeah, you have a few. And they just,
Yeah.
that's them, or they'll dismiss it, or you'll say, was it you? And it might take 4 or 5 times before they say, you know, that was me. But I think what you've got to understand about all these people, even like big artists, they've been burned so many times.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I
By the
suppose
music industry.
so many people do, don't they, by the industry?
They do.
So yeah, they're going to be very wary, I guess,
Yeah,
of
there is no trust.
some limey phoning them up
Yeah,
out of
exactly.
nowhere, and
Yeah.
you know.
Do you get them to go the other way where they suddenly think you're going to make them rich?
Of course,
Yeah.
a lot of time. Obviously, they, you know,
They're
inevitably, a lot of them. The first thing that says, "Can I come over to play?" But I said, "Well, not on the strength of one record, unfortunately. I'd love to bring you over, but you know."
Yeah.
Is that something that you think about? I mean, obviously you've got the
Yeah,
label.
I have thought about it.
Because obviously people just aren't making money from music anymore in regards to record sales, because everything is fairly limited.
It is.
You will hit your target audience,
Yeah.
and there'll be a few left over that didn't get it, and that's what makes it collectible.
Yeah.
But obviously most money is made from live performances, I suppose, for artists these days.
I guess so. Yeah.
Is there anything that
But
you...
I still think, even when I've been to some, like we went to see like Joe Baton, you
Yeah.
know, massive, you know, it wasn't packed, it was like half full, and I'm thinking, how can someone
Yeah.
so iconic as like Joe Baton be half
Yeah.
full in London on a Saturday night or whatever? So it's inevitably quite
Well,
difficult.
what do you think that is? I mean,
I know.
I mean, Is it because, I mean, you know, obviously, yes, he was big. He had some great stuff, you know, out in the 70s, late 60s as well. But I suppose the people that may have liked those albums are going to be in fairly short supply these days, you know what I mean?
And maybe, like I said, it is maybe trying to get to a younger generation of that music. But obviously, music's changed now, isn't it? It's just, it's kind of fly away. People aren't in depth about stuff. They don't look into it as much. They probably wouldn't even... No, they've got it on their iPod. They probably wouldn't even know who their person was. Unfortunately, that's
people
what
don't
music
tend
is.
to exactly like with us or yourself, especially.
Exactly,
You like looking at the production credits, finding out where that person came from, the history behind it. Whereas a lot of youngsters these days, they don't give a shit.
It's like just football stickers.
There's nothing in it anymore, is there?
Yeah.
And obviously, I know we were talking about it a little bit earlier. It's like when you get new DJs or doing radio shows. They do radio shows, but they can't make them and never be too interesting because they can't tell you any information about what they're listening to. They can just say, "I've got this. Someone said it to me."
Yeah, it's on my phone.
Yeah. What do you know about it? Oh, I don't know anything. What label?
Yeah.
I don't know. So to me, it kind of makes it, there's not really a following anymore, is there? Well, we would be like when our days. We were just saying when we got off at Hammersmith and talking about Hammersmith like. What was it? Apollo
Spin-offs.
Yeah.
Apollo.
You should go to gigs there. You couldn't wait to go there, but does that happen as much anymore?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I suppose for the bigger artists it would be something, or if you had some sort of show of lots of people turning up, but then obviously you have to pay them, so it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. I guess.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. So in regards to sort of, so how many releases have you had so far?
Right, so we're going to be the next one, which is Mighty Fire, is 22.
Wow.
So it's gone pretty cool.
Jesus, that many already?
Yeah,
3 years.
Right,
do you have problems getting them pressed in?
No, not really.
No.
Just getting pressed in France.
Okay.
In NPO, which have been really good.
Right, okay.
So it's been alright. And if I've got lots of stuff, I'm pretty ahead of it, to be fair.
Sure. So you've already got your next sort of 3 or 4 releases.
The Mighty Fire is sort of out next month, and the Willie T test pressings come next week. I'll just okay them.
Okay.
And I'll just keep doing that really.
And you've had some stuff through that you've been listening to today, even in here, that's been sent through, which sounded amazing. So
it's really good.
I mean, because obviously me and Brad play.
You're always good. You always play the stuff
because they're so good. You know what I mean?
Appreciate
they've got to be played because they're so good. So
I think you have to be pretty sensible and not just put stuff out because it's unissued or so. You have to sort of say, does it sound good, or are you gonna?
And have you found some of these iconic artists sending you complete shit, their version of the Birdie song or something like that?
It's not complete rubbish, but
it's not the sound that you need.
So like working or in touch with some guy who's on Prelude Records or has had a deal signed to Prelude Records, and he gave me the material and it was okay. And maybe back then it would have been okay. Not everything on Prelude is amazing, is it? And
I suppose a lot of it was disco as well, which obviously isn't your sort of avenue in what you're putting out. Really,
well, I don't know. I put some boogie stuff out.
Some stuff's been.
But obviously it would be okay, and back then it would be okay. But obviously now
you need it to be really good.
I think it's got to be good.
Yeah.
For people.
So. Who's been the biggest thrill in regards to sort of finding them and well, I mean not so much the meeting them because obviously they're all the way over there usually in the States, but who's been sort of like the biggest thrill that you've actually met them for? I can't believe I'm actually sorting out stuff with you.
Wow. Well, it's got to be obviously Leroy Hudson. It's got to be pretty much, the funny thing is he actually played them tracks to someone else like a long time ago.
Really?
And I thought him.
And these are the Arnold Blair tracks.
Yeah, I don't think people have followed it up.
Right.
And everyone's going to me, how can they have not come out? How comes you've got them? And I think, enthusiasm, showing that you want to do it, showing that excitement over it gets over good to people. So he was really cool, chatted to him. He sort of said, I like the way you want to do it and come across, and just making it happen rather than talking about it and just making it happen.
And how's he been since? I mean, obviously,
absolutely brilliant.
So he's obviously, probably obviously quite psyched that you've had like a third pressing of that now.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, and obviously he's exactly the same. He's got some bad stories about the music industry.
Yeah.
You'd find surprising people who have been friends,
really?
let him down. It's like it time and time again.
Come on, you've got to spill the beans on some of that.
No, I just think even like the Jimmy Go label, which obviously stands for Gemini and Virgo. But he said the guy who runs that goes, just a horrible human being who said, you know, that
Right.
absolutely ripped him. You know,
Right.
but you're talking about he's written for Donny Hathaway
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Curtis and Impressions and
That's
you
it.
know, even people top of their game still getting stiffed for
Yeah.
money.
And you do. I think you hear about it more and more now as well.
Yeah.
When people are now willing to tell their stories about that sort
Yeah.
of stuff.
So obviously they've got no trust in people,
Yeah.
which is really difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, he's been super good. Yeah, he's just like loved everything we've done. Yeah, and then coming back to release another one. So
Yeah.
the next single by him, which is probably out in April, I think.
Right. Okay.
And with this collector contacted me, who's actually got a picture of Arnold Blair, because hardly anyone really knows what he looks like.
Right.
But he's had a poster that came from the 70s, like none around.
Right.
So we're going to print some of them up as well.
So
it's
is that going to go
fantastic.
inside the single?
No, just going to be a special offer,
Cover.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just a
right.
special offer, probably like press 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so something to,
Well,
obviously, of course, it generates money for the label, and also it's
Well,
something
of
nice
course.
for people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everyone loves a special sort of
Yeah.
something. If you've got one of those 100 that
Yeah.
all the other people haven't got,
So we're
then
going to
it's-
try and do that maybe just for the first.
I love a special something.
I love a special something.
We all
as well,
do,
but
yeah.
totally.
So
yeah.
obviously now what you've got is a label that's become so collectible in its own right, because literally the minute they're on, they're gone.
Yeah, they do. They
Which-
do okay, which is nice. I'm hoping people do it for the music, not because they
Yeah.
want to make some money on it. Or they want to. I'm hoping people.
I think
do
the
it.
majority
You're
do.
probably going to have a
Yeah.
bit of both.
Yeah,
You know
but I
what
think the
mean?
majority,
Yeah.
the majority do,
Yeah.
because
But
you
I've
see
always said
it
to
blow
people,
up,
yeah,
and every
buy
time
it
we
because
play
you
one,
like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
people talk
Don't buy it
about it,
because
don't
you think, I have to. Or buy it because you want to buy it and you want to listen to it. Because
Yeah.
unfortunately, like we said, the climate we're in is people buy a record that don't even play it half the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah, that's it.
And I'd like to think the music's a bit more precious and
Yeah.
you know.
Well, but they've been well received, haven't they, on the soul scene? Obviously,
they've been
which you're quite involved in yourself, really, in regards to being
Yeah.
a DJ. You play out over in Sweden and
Yeah,
stuff
play
like
out a
that.
few places. Yeah,
Quite a lot.
Just from
Has it sort of like bumped up since
No.
since the Super Disco edits?
I don't think it has really.
No?
No,
No?
not really. No, not really.
But it's obviously quite a. Well, would you say it's quite a closed sort of scene in regards
I'd
to?
say it is. I say it is really, and I say you could buy your way to DJing there because obviously
Sure.
it's about big
What
money
records
records
you've
and
got,
stuff.
yeah.
So obviously you can buy your way to it, which I don't really agree with, to be fair,
Yeah.
because you'll fall off quite quickly. You
Well,
can
yeah.
only go so much of buying £1,000 records.
Before your
There was
skin
some-
and
yeah. You buy £1,000 records to DJ and get paid 50 quid. I mean, can you really
It's a
work out the
false
logic
economy,
in
isn't
there?
it?
Yeah, totally.
There's no logic, is there?
Yeah, but where do you find that the scene is very healthy? I mean, in the
In Europe, yeah,
Europe,
definitely.
yeah.
Because the people who go, I'll say a little bit younger, they're just so open-minded.
right,
And then in next month I'm playing in Sweden. This Solar Static's been going like 19 years in Gothenburg.
right,
You'll have a mixed range of people, young people, old people. They'll just dance to everything.
right.
There won't be a point where they just all come off the thing. They won't say to you, play something else.
Yeah.
They'll just dance. That's their night out and have a good time.
And do you find that the attitude's different in Europe to say this UK or?
I do, because the UK's probably not been spoiled, but they've had this scene that's
Yeah.
been going since the 70s.
Yeah.
Inevitably, a lot of the older people who are on that scene, they don't necessarily collect records anymore, but they all seem to have an opinion of what's right and what's
Sure,
wrong.
sure.
And I've come off forums where people just want to shoot you down for
Right.
if you put something up and they say, "Oh, this isn't a soul record," blah blah blah, and you're like, you know what?
It's always been that way, I think, in the UK, isn't it? I think it's just sort of in
It's
our
a very
nature to
anal
be a little
country.
bit anal and a bit uppity about
A little
sort of-
bit, yeah. And it could be a drag, can't it?
Of
Yeah.
At
course,
the end of the
yeah.
day, people go out, they want to go out and have a good time, have a
Sure.
few beers.
We're a nation of
have a
train
dance.
spotters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it can be
totally.
completely embarrassing, unfortunately.
But is there any sort of? I mean, you do put on some of your own little nights and stuff in. Well,
It's
not,
just an
not
excuse
little.
to go and get drunk.
Of course, but,
normally,
but also being able to sort of play out to
Yeah.
people that don't mind hearing what you play.
No,
I
exactly.
suppose.
Well, I think because I probably tend to be on that scene of like know some b-boys, know some hip hop people, know
Yeah.
soul and funk people, and I like playing both. Be it obviously jazz, soul, funk,
Yeah.
boogie.
Yeah.
That's good. But maybe on the soul scene, sometimes you probably haven't got as much license to maybe mix it up as bit
Sure,
as we can.
because there seems to be there is quite a segregation, isn't there? You've got your
Yeah.
northern guys,
You've got lots of genres
you've
that-
got your modern soul, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got your funk lot who tend to, and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So
of
it
course.
is quite difficult to actually mix it up, like you say.
Yeah.
But it does seem to be a fair few little sort of soul nights, even around here. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That
Yeah.
are popping up. I mean, I do find that they're more into the R&B northern sort of
Yeah.
sound, but like you say, there is always a crossover point, isn't there?
I think there is. You've only got to take all TV adverts, they all use soul music, don't they?
Yeah, that's it.
You know, most use soul music to advertise this stuff, so it does get out there to you know, a different audience, younger people. That's what you want at the end of the day. Otherwise, like they said, rock and roll was going to die at one point, didn't they? Because they said everyone will be old and not into it, and there'll be no one else.
And then there's a resurgence of people almost making rock and roll and sort of, that's right, the old rockabilly sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Darge ditched his soul for rockabilly, didn't he?
Yeah,
You know
I do
what
jib him up about that sometimes. When I say to him, but I guess he's always done that. He was on the Northern Soul scene. He did his deep funk thing, which went amazing for him, didn't it? But I know he had his hard times, couldn't get venues and stuff.
Yeah.
So that took him maybe a while to. But then to make that transition or just jump then into like what's he in, like Gary psychobilly kind of
psychobilly, rockabilly sort of stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
I can see it's the same concept. Obviously, Rare Records and that, but obviously musically it's a different.
Yeah.
You know, to me, obviously being in the soul music because it gets you in there.
Exactly.
So that's what. So then all it doesn't change.
Yeah, I found it quite odd that he did, but
he's having a party tonight.
60th birthday.
I might go actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, it's free to get in.
I'll be at home watching Homeland.
Are you? Yeah, if I'm still up there, I might go.
Oh, cool. So where's it going to be going from here? Obviously, you've got some other stuff in the pipeline, but I mean, where do you see it going? Is this a long-term plan in regards to?
It's only long-term because I love doing it.
Yeah,
that's
of
why
course.
It's long-term.
And I suppose as long as people are buying the stuff, then
as long as I can find
going.
good people and I enjoy it and it gets me excited.
Would it be like? Would you think about doing like a comp or of the releases so far, or a book?
Yeah, I have
or
thought
a movie
about
of your life.
That probably wouldn't be very long.
Playgirl spread.
Yeah. Who can I get to play me with like big ears and ginger hair? There'll be someone out there. It might be one of my kids when they're older. Like, you're playing me.
But does it? I mean, is it something that you are sort of gonna sort of just keep on pursuing?
I am. It's
I
like
hope you do.
It's. I guess it's like when anyone does, and it's not a business venture. It's never meant to be a business venture. But I guess if you talk to anyone who maybe has made it, I'm sure like Alan Sugar and what's his name, Richard Branson, they all started just maybe selling out of the garage or doing stuff, or you know. And I don't see it like that, but I see it as something that it can grow bigger, and
of course,
to have a catalogue is good.
Yeah,
I like it that obviously the records you don't have to sell out straight away. Like years ago, if you wanted to go and buy a record and it was released 3 years ago, you could still go in the shop and buy it. Now everyone thinks it's got to be sold out to be any good.
Yes, that's right.
But,
I suppose that's because just the business model's changed completely because everything's online, everything's. You know.
But obviously, you get more people come to the label with each release, and then they'll buy something else from the back catalogue. So it's not like I have to sell them, straight away. But everyone thinks something's a success if the next day you go sold out.
Yeah. Is there anybody that you really want on the label that you haven't managed to get hold of yet?
You haven't heard me play guitar yet?
I do. I can hear it in a minute. I'll take anyone. I'll take absolutely anyone. I must admit, in the last 3 weeks, I must have sent out hundreds of messages and emails to people. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, just to get like a few back who might be interested or
Right.
have material or haven't been beaten to it already.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll just put out a lot of groundwork.
But it does go to show, doesn't it, that there must be so much stuff out there, because if you've been doing this for the last couple of years, sort of like, and finding people. Not easily, but fairly easily in the sense that you do get some really amazing releases out of it. Yeah. There must be tons of people out there.
It's not just that, although obviously you're the best, there's quite a few people doing it as well.
There is.
So there is a
and
lot
doing a
out
good
there.
job.
Yeah.
I think where we have like a little, because we're in Europe or we're in England.
Yeah.
To me, that's where your buying market is really in England, Europe. The scene's big. I can imagine in America it's a little bit harder, like labels doing it out there, because when you think half these artists and stuff, they wanted to come to England and jazz musicians wanted to come to Sweden and Denmark because they were never appreciated, was they, in the 60s and 70s?
True, yeah.
And inevitably, you'll get Roy Ayers, and when Gil Scott Heron was here, and they want to come to England and play because they're loved, aren't they?
That's right. Yeah.
They get paid and they're loved. It doesn't happen in America, I don't think.
No, well, I suppose it's such a vast place, isn't it? That it would be difficult to make an imprint in regards to that. But I suppose there are labels in the States.
There are labels there, of course there are. Yeah.
But
I can imagine they do export a hell of a lot. This side.
Definitely.
It's just nice when you chat to these guys who are probably in their late 60s, you know, and you know, they can't believe that someone's you know, got hold of them and want to put their music out.
Yeah,
You know, that to me is just a beautiful buzz in itself. To
Totally, it must be amazing. Yeah, definitely.
Because that's what it is ultimately about. You're never going to be a billionaire from one release.
No,
but
exactly.
It's all about getting that music heard by someone.
Exactly.
I think just
they thought it was long forgotten.
And finally getting some recognition that they thought had been long forgotten.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that, and like you said, that is stuff that they had dreams and aspirations that probably fell flat, and like we said, they got ripped off, or there was no promotion.
Yeah.
And they've gone to get a day job, and they've done that for the last 20 years. Then some guy says, "Wow, you know, did you do this, or have you got this?"
Yeah.
Now, it must be pretty, you know. Someone better do it about the gutter snipes in about 50 years.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I might say, "I've got a golden ticket in one of these. You couldn't win."
Yeah. It'd be like that Searching for the Sugar Man, but the Gutter Snipes was a huge song.
So I hadn't
it.
seen that until maybe just like 2 months ago. I think Christmas or whatever, Christmas time, all the family had gone out, and I thought, I'm just going to sit and watch this. And I could just relate to that. Everything about it was the thing that I do. It just
digging for finding this guy.
Just when you heard someone's music and it drove you on to say, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Look at that, what a sweet story that is. Amazing.
Yeah, totally. I remember finding that album at a boot sale.
Oh, really?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But, excellent.
Brilliant.
Excellent, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, keep on doing what you're doing, and we're going to keep on playing what you're doing.
Buy the records at Super Disco Edit's Bandcamp.
It's on Big Cartel, but we're going to have a brand new website coming up very soon, and we're going to have some nice extras. We're going to do this DJ pool, which is like a special place where you can go. You're going to get longer versions of songs. You're going to get a chance to get limited stuff. So you know. Yeah, it's going to be this little thing we're working on, but
I think you should make a film. Actually, I just thinking about it. No. But what a great idea it would be to actually follow up with sort of like being able to go over to the States, actually meet them, find out their backstory, show and then sort of like.
Be a lovely
documentary. Show it with that Africa 45 that we put out, which basically just came through like a car boot find. Didn't know it was a soul record. Went home, played it, instantly thought brilliant. On the phone number, it had a phone number on the front of the cover which said Clacton on Sea.
That's all right.
I thought, I'm going to see if it's there. It was still there. He'd moved to like St. Joseph's, like next to it.
Right.
We got in touch with him like within like an hour, and they were like, "Wow, we're going to have a meeting." We were going to film them that whole process, but it just didn't happen because the cameraman couldn't make it. But exactly the same thing. Went down there. They had tapes and tapes of music when they were growing up, like hundreds of tapes.
Right.
But we just didn't have time to go through it all. But they had so much stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think it's an idea. Seriously, because obviously because it gets them sort of like another extra bit of recognition. But also people do like a story.
Love a story.
You know what I mean? They love a story.
We love a story.
We love a story.
We tell you a story.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in. We look forward to the next release as well.
Totally. Yeah. Definitely.
Cheers.
Right.
Cheers.
This is really good.
It's brilliant. This is Mr. Leon Hayward and BMF Beautiful. And this is a nice cheeky little 7 of it, because the album's lovely as well, but it's nice to have it on a 7.
I just bought it.
Yeah, there you go.
Heard it and bought it. And thanks to Mr. Russell SIGHER Paine. Wonderful interview.
Totally, What? I can't get the levels right, hang on.
You're the sound man of the show.
I know.
This is such a cheapie on Discogs.
I know. It's beautiful.
I want to thank Mark Wes and put my copy of it.
There you go. If you check back to probably show 3 or 4 or something, he was the first person we interviewed. He was the first person we interviewed, Right. So there you go.
He was the first person.
He was, So go and check out his shop actually in Bath. I think he's looking for a bigger space right now, so there you go.
A bigger boat.
That's right. Anyway, next up, another cheeky little 45 from Mr. Cole Carlton, and this is This Feeling's Rating Extra on the B-side of She's a Bad Mama Jamma, She's Built and She's Snapped. There you go. But this is This Feeling's Extra. Rated Extra. Cool. Yes. Lovely track this. Sounds very much like Mellow right on by a low rel, but kind of prefer this one actually.
Come on. That put anybody in the mood for love.
It would. It would certainly put me in the mood for love. Not right now with Brad, but you understand. Yeah, very nice indeed.
We had a chat with our good old Ched friends, one of our earliest guests as well, from show 7 or 8, Mr. DJ Format the other day.
Yes.
Album and the tour, April. Come on, there's a lot of dates on that tour as well.
So you've got to make it to at least one of them.
Yeah, we're going to the Electric Ballroom in Camden.
We will.
April or something or another. But he's going to come in and have a chat. Well, we're going to go down and have a chat. We're going to have a chat about the new album. Probably, hopefully, get some exclusive sneak peeks.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah,
Wouldn't it just, man?
Totally.
So yeah, I'm excited. So him and Abs will be on tour April. If you've never seen their show live, it's amazing. If you've never called Format DJing, it's always cracking.
Yeah, brilliant. Totally.
Always great, man. So yeah.
Yeah, cool.
What's that?
Yeah, and obviously last week we played the Sansai album. Please get that, and obviously the Uncle Mike Nitro album, which I actually happened to have a really good listen to after we did the show because I just got it, and it is cracking, really, really good. And we should hopefully be getting him and his main man Ryan in at some point.
Well, there's
very,
a lot
very
of
soon.
noise about that, man. I've seen a lot of going on, people talking about
we've
it.
been talking, we're just trying to find a time for them to pop in, and obviously they've got to come all the way up from the south coast to explain away the process behind this killer album. So hopefully it'll be very, very soon anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Anyway, next up we've got Tim Buckley. Yes, Jeff Buckley's dad, Tim Buckley, made a few albums, and a few of them are pretty damn funky. This one being a very funky one. So this is Look at the Fool.
He's up there as well.
Yeah, that's right. This is a brilliant album. Get this one or Weekend in LA, and the funk is full. There you go. It's really good.
There's a few nice tracks on this.
Really good.
What's the track called again?
This one is called Look at the Fool. Well, it is. So there you go. Yeah. Obviously came to a tragic end, as did his son.
Yeah,
very nice indeed.
very nice.
Next up, I've been after this for years and years actually, and a long time ago, when I was in my hardcore ravey days, there was I think it might have been Mark Mack from Four Heroes put out a load of stuff by a group of Tom and Jerry, and they sampled this on one of their tracks, and I never knew what it was, and then I found out, and then it took me a good couple of years to actually find this album by Maxi, and it's on Blue Note, and it's brilliant, and the track is called Lover to Lover. Very big, cool, rare groove tune. Here we go.
It's got a lovely cover as well, this track.
Yeah.
This album.
Yeah, she used to be in Honeycomb. The group Honeycomb.
Yep, played on the show. Putting away covers, look at that one.
Getting it on whilst eating lettuce. It's a big old lettuce leaf as well.
Now to me that is a great campaign to make people eat their greens.
Do you recognise her? Trading Places.
She's in Trading Places.
The one who strips off and dances in his party.
In his party,
Yeah.
Did that definitely hurt?
Yeah.
What a lovely track.
Oh, I could play this over and over, and I probably will until I get sick of it. Which is often what happens. Yeah, so there you go, 1977 on Blue Note. Yeah, lovely. And it's got loads of killer people playing on it. It's got Dorothy Ashby on harp. Yeah, very nice. So there you go. Anyway, we've come up to our break of the week.
Break of the week.
And this break of the week is one that was used by Rob Life on his old school beat mix-up tape, B-boy thingy, and it's by Command Decision Swahili Part 2.
This is really good.
Yeah, British, only 7 I think.
Yeah, I'm going to snap this one up.
Yeah, I don't think it's expensive at all. You'll have to wait a little while for the break to come in, but I don't think so, no.
Love that cover.
Russell played it and quickly tossed it over to the other side of the room, so I don't think there's much on
It's got
it.
that little He's got like a bit of lettuce
up his nose.
up his nose, which looks like he's basically having a bit of an accident.
He's got a hell of a unibrow as well.
Right, that's a brilliant cover. Yeah, break comes eventually.
It does. Have you got anything else to plug?
I don't think so. I'm sure we do. There you go.
Little B-boy break for you. Yeah, Rob Life got live with 2 copies of this. Awesome. If he ever plays out, please go and watch him because he's one of the best B-boy DJs out there. Anyway, next up is our theme of the week. And it's a little oddity this. I've never heard of it. Yeah, and it's like some English rocker who's somehow done a version of Cleopatra Jones. And it's on WWA records. But it's a good version of the theme from Cleopatra Jones, so this is our theme of the week.
Yeah, it's a strange one this, because on the other side is
So,
rock tune.
yeah, that's right.
They don't seem to go together, but it's a nice version of
Yeah.
Cleopatra
Yeah,
Jones.
by the way, it's by a guy called Bobby Harrison.
Bobby Harrison.
Bobby Harrison.
That's right.
From Surrey. Yeah. But it's produced by John Cameron, who did a lot of KPM stuff, so there you go.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, thanks to Mr. Russell Gutter Snipe
Super Disco Edit,
Disco Edit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man with many names for coming on. What a lovely bloke. What a interesting interview.
Totally, yeah.
You know, make sure you keep supporting. I mean, everybody does it. This stuff sells out like that, man. So
Yeah.
jump on it fast when he announces it. So yeah, cool. And come down to the shop. It's in South Arrow, opposite South Arrow Piccadilly line station, where you can get all sorts of wonder.
All sorts of wonderful stuff, and there's new stuff coming in daily. So.
Daily.
Daily.
In fact, the camera's on top of the new boxes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.